Ek Onkar Satguru Prasad. June 24, 2024, 8:11 p.m. There's two things I want to document in this session. One is if you're using Adobe Illustrator and you have like these sort of icons, you can come in here, you can select this icon, and in this contextual taskbar, you can click on recolor. Now the problem with this is, firstly, it won't open up like this. It would be something like, when you click on recolor, it will be something like this. Okay, now the problem with this is every single time you have to come in here and color theme picker, you have to select these colors, and then it will map your illustration to those colors. But I have some brands that I'm working for, and this is a brand kind of thing. Okay, this is the color palette. So how can you put it like in a color palette? So when you click on recolor, none of these will work. Like color library, you have a user defined MNCL greens. Oh, it works in that way. How do you get this user defined MNCL greens here? Because earlier I had MNCL swatch which had a little more. So how will you do it is, firstly, of course, you will have, let's try and make it for these colors. So I'm going to come in here, take my rectangle tool and create these rectangles here. Just click on this, then click on this, then click on this, then click on this, then click on this. So with these selected, you want to open your swatches menu. So window and swatches. Okay, now you want to come in here and click on this button here, new color group from selected artwork. Okay, and let's just say test and click on OK. So that will bring this here. There was something called save swatch. Save swatch as library. So before you save this swatch, right, because it's gonna be a problem, what you want to do is you want to delete all these other swatches here, so which you apparently, you can just do it that way. So just delete it this way. You can keep this one and this one here, that's all right. So now with this setup, now you can come in here and say save swatch library, and we're going to call this test swatch. Swatches containing gradient pattern or tints are now currently. Okay, now you can come in here, you can select this and go into recolor, and in color library user define, you can say test swatch, and now all those colors have been mapped here. If you want, you can go into advanced options, and here you have your test swatch. You can play with which color of this artwork is getting affected, and you can also play how much of it is getting affected. So you can play around with this. Now the reason I made it this way is because if I go into another, let's say I go into this Illustrator file, and over here you select this and you say recolor. Okay, now over here color library, you want to pick user defined test swatch. So you have that swatch here, and then most times you will have to go into advanced options. So what you can do is you can come in here and check this box, open advanced recolor artwork dialog on launch, and when you hit OK, when you do recolor here, it will automatically open this. You can also still edit it here, generative color recolor, this to get back to this place, if this is something which is more convenient to you. And then you can select these and just reduce the amount of blue maybe, or the amount of orange, or however you want to recolor it. I have documented in the past the ITK script which I use for basic pop-in things and stuff like those. Now I was facing a problem today where it wasn't popping things from the anchor point. So let me show you what I mean. If I go into After Effects, I'm inside After Effects. I'm gonna take can we add this here? Okay, so I have this layer here, it's called CAGR. Now if I wanted to pop this, I would add a transform effect on it. The reason we do it through transform effect is because I want the like scale position of this independent. So that's why I do it through a transform effect. So anyway, I come into transform effect. If you click on the transform effect here, because this was in the center, it would look like it's the same. But if you come in here, let's say my layer was placed here. Okay, I come in here and add a transform effect on this. In this case, it works perfectly fine. So if you see the transform effect, the position, the anchor point and everything is where it should be. However, if I had an icon that I wanted to pop, this one we used, so I'm going to push this one. All control home, or maybe just I bring it here. I'm gonna scale it up. Okay, so now if you on this vector layer, if you were to apply the transform effect, you see that the transform effect is gonna be at the center of the composition always. So if you were to scale it up and down, your pop in pop out would always do this weird thing. So how do you fix this? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. What you want to do is you want to come into this anchor point here, and you want to add an expression such that this anchor point is looking at the position of your layer. Okay, so we're going to take this pick whip and put it into position, so that will offset it that way. So what you do next is you take this position, which is the transform effects position, and you pick whip it 2 anchor points. That will center it down. So now if you were to scale it up and down, it will always happen from the anchor point of the layer. So if you just see the expressions here, simple expression on anchor point is transform.position, and the position of the transform effect is looking at effect transform anchor point. So this does the trick. Now the reason this does the trick is like if you see the transform effect scale is working. Even if I was to make the anchor point here, anchor point of the layer there, if I was to scale it, it would scale from there. Or if I was to take it anywhere else, like the layer's anchor point here, your transform effect is gonna follow it every single time. And the way you do that in the script, if I could just show it quickly, is this is my in the code script pop element in. Now here I've done one additional thing. I check, so layer is layers I, okay, pop element in. So I check if layer is instance of shape layer, which is what we were looking at, vector layer, then you do the same thing to position. But if the layer is an image layer, which is in the case of this one, so in a few instances this was not working, like right now it is just working out of the bat, but for some reason it wasn't working earlier. So I did 2 checks here. From both of these, if I was to remove the transform effect from here and from here, okay, I was to select this and add from here for 10 frames. If I was to add a pop in, you would get an alert image layer because it's an image layer. And if you were transform.anchor point is not, what is the error? Expression disabled, internal error. What's the problem? Semicolon was the problem. No, it's still an error. Wait, let me try to manually do it. So put it to anchor point. Oh, maybe I misspelled transform. Transform, something is missed. Okay, anyway, so still getting that error. I don't know what that is for, but for this layer, this vector layer, if I was to pop in, you'll say alert vector. This is just a check, you don't need to have it, but you will have that coming in from your anchor point. If you look at the expressions, we have transform.position applied on the transform effects anchor point, and the position is this. I'm really not sure why this is a problem, because it shouldn't be a problem really. Even if we were to not do these things, it will still work because that's how it is working. But I will try and figure out why this is not working. But these 2 things I want to document today's session. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks so much for being in the code. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.